Imagine being a 16-year-old girl who was just raped by a man twice her age and having to carry that child around for 9 unwanted months, a child that she did not plan to have, a man that she did not love, sexually assault her like that. That is wrong, and therefore she should not have to live with this child or have to go through the 9 months of pregnancy with this child. I have done lots of research on abortion, and I feel like I know quite a bit about the subject. Today I want to bring you 3 points on why abortion is a morally good thing. In my first point, I will talk about how abortion is legal, and in my second point, I'll talk about how abortion is morally good, and in my third point, I will talk about how abortion helps solve many problems. Abortion is legal for multiple different reasons. According to Elroy.net, on April 12, 2011, an article was written about how abortion is legal, and it had 9 different reasons why abortion was legal. Multiple reasons, many of the reasons had to consist of the fact that things happen, and abortion is not just legal for teenagers who get in incidents where they have a child with their boyfriend and then they want to end up getting rid of that child because it was a big accident. No, things happen like rape and things where like sexually assaulted fathers are sexually assaulting their daughters, and that's just wrong and unacceptable, and these women should not have to live with that. And there's problems within pregnancies, and within the first 5 weeks, babies don't have nervous systems. They can't feel anything. They don't know within the first 5 weeks of the pregnancy after the baby was created. They don't have any feeling, and that's one of the biggest arguments that the other side makes about how abortion is wrong. The baby does know what's going on. The baby can feel what's happening, but the fact is they can't. According to Livestrong.com on April 12, 2011, there is nothing wrong with aborting your baby within the first 5 weeks because they don't have a nervous system. There's nothing there that's going to keep that baby from knowing anything more or less. I mean, they're not going to be in pain or anything like that. And in that, this mother is not going to have to carry around a child that she didn't want, a child that she did not plan on having. She didn't have the money to support this child or anything like that. This brings me to my second point. Abortion is morally good. Abortion is good, according to Feminist.us on February 23, 2007. An article was written that abortion is morally good because if a mother is going to bring a baby into life, they need to be able to support this child. They need to be able to take care of this child in all the different aspects of life. It takes a lot to raise a kid. And if this mother is not prepared for that, she's not going to do the job that this kid needs to be raised well. Therefore, that's just going to keep this cycle of teenage pregnancies happening, or anything along those lines. It's going to keep people in poverty if they're having kids without being ready for it. And that's going to keep our world and our economy down, and it's all going to lead to a major crash in our economy if abortions weren't acceptable, because the fact that these mothers are doing the right thing by aborting these kids because they're not ready to have them, or something happened and it put them in this situation where they got pregnant and didn't want the baby and they weren't prepared to bring a child into this world, then it's acceptable for them to be able to abort this. And this is their own decision. And if a mother wants to speak for herself, then she has that right. And every woman in the world has that right to abort a child that they do not want, a child that was unplanned and that they know they will not be able to take care of. This brings me to my third point. Abortion helps solve many problems. As I said in my introduction, imagine being a 16-year-old girl who just got raped by a man twice her age that she did not fall in love with. She did not have any feelings for this man at all, and he just took advantage of her and she got pregnant. And that's a huge problem to be in, and that's something that no woman should ever go through. But being in a situation like that, the only thing to turn to would be abortion. And yes, you say that you could put the child up for adoption, but why should that girl have to take off an entire year from school, take off an entire year from her life, just because she was taken advantage of by a man that she didn't want to be taken advantage of by, a thing that happened to her that she had not planned, that she didn't know was going to happen. That is just absolutely terrible, a horrible thing to happen. And the fact that it did happen, she has that right to get that baby aborted. And since she did have that abortion, it's really helped solve those many problems, and things like that are happening all around the world every day. And if these women didn't have the choice to get these babies aborted, then we would just keep having problems with this, and none of this would ever be solved. So today I brought you 3 points on why abortion is morally good. In my first point, I talked about how abortion is legal, therefore it has its rights to be legal. In my second point, I talked about how abortion is moral. And in my third point, I talked about how abortion helps solve many problems. Being a girl that's 16 and pregnant is a horrible thing to go through, especially if you didn't want it. Therefore, all women have the right and the choice to make to abort children that were unwanted and they didn't have the support to bring a child into this world. And abortion is morally good for all these different reasons.